righty. Peace and blessings to each and every one of y'all. I'm not sure if y'all can hear me or not, but let me know in the chat room. Somebody let me know in the chat room if you can hear me loud and clear. Okay, I do hear myself out here. Peace and blessings to you all. This is your man, not your boy, Papa Ru, coming at you. Yes, hey, I am wanting to give thanks to the Most High, first and foremost, for starting off this day. Tell you all, hey, it's been a tough day for me in some aspects of it, dealing with contractors, dealing with a whole lot of issues. Sometimes, you just think that the day was set out on the wrong foot and you just try to get through it. But in saying all that, I'm thankful, y'all. Hey, you know what? My second day, my second show here for you to watch and to come and call and ask questions that I have answers for you. Today is a very sad day in this generation that we live in. Many people have questions and answers they can't even find reputable people who are able to give them those answers maybe that they're looking for. Man like myself decided that I wanted to be that man to give you what you're looking for. And that is another option, a perception, a view that you can go ahead and just chew off of. I love to call it the gold nuggets. You have, from an elder man like myself, 60 years old, there's a rarity in today's society. Having a man's view. We've been kind of silent and we've been off in the right corners, and our ladies have been out here and have been very vocal in our children, in the adult, in an arena life of advice giving and their perceptions and what they perceive things to be. And sad to say, many of us men have been silent in that department. But I have the lines open. If you, because this is what this is all about, people that needs a ask a question. You might be stumped on a situation in your life. You might have an issue, a problem that you're trying to work through. Maybe you've sought out friends and sought out family members, and their advice really hasn't helped you. I'm here to tell you, you're looking at a man who has come from many a miles. I know I don't look like it, but um, the trials and tribulations of my life I had learned from. I study life, study people along the journey, and have come to some very key gold nuggets that can help and assist people, because I had to realize when you live in reality, you have to confront the issues head on. If you want to live an illusion, you can do such a thing and just live in a lie. But I have here, how to making right decisions, and I know many people struggle with that. Yesterday I had a good couple of callers who called in, asked some questions. It was very fruitful. It was very blessing to me to be able to drop those gold nuggets to some people out there, young adults who just wanted, like I said, another part of a piece of the puzzle that they may have never considered. But how do you make right decisions? And I had to learn, you all, that sometimes, when you make decisions, it may be out of emotions. Sometimes you make decisions when out of emotions, you're going to make wrong decisions. And whether it's, the relationships you in, whether it's, you know, jobs, or whether it's family, whether it's, man being a man, a father, a husband, or whether it's a woman trying to do the opposite. When you're making these decisions based off of emotions, you're going to go ahead and set yourself up for failure. It's sad to say that. I mean, and we got to realize that we have to come to a place to where we can. I like to say I'm a man that don't tiptoe around any bush. I don't sugarcoat anything, and I'm going to give it to you raw. This is where today's society and generation have become very numb. We have a generation that's very let's just say soft skin in receiving truth. But when you give a person the truth, sometimes the truth they run from, because they know it's going to have to create changes. You're going to have to do some sacrifices in life. And if you don't do those changes, you just reap what you sow, those same old dumb decisions that you make. Um, and that's where we need to get out of. I mean, people have made resolutions here this year already. We're in February. And I wonder how many people out there have succeeded in what they say they're going to do. How many people out here are going to make that change for the better? And I find it in our people, if you will, in the community, we have a struggle in that area. I have seen many of people my age who still act like they're young boys. I've seen even the men and women of my age who have trying to look like the younger youth, act like the younger youth, and be like the younger youth instead of being elders. I see that there's an issue. You know, it's tough, especially when you grow old and you're trying to hold on to your youth. I'm telling you, it's tough, but we as elders have to step up and go ahead and lend a helping hand to those out there who is seeking answers. Now, I can make this very controversial and make it into a subject matter of beating up on the opposite sex or, calling people names or belittling people. I think we've had enough of that in our community. I think we've had enough of that. And there's a time for it. And you're going to see as time goes on, I'm going to probably have to come up against some combative people, people who disagree with me. And, you just keep it real and you just lay it out there the way it is. But this is a time for really ironing out some wrinkles in one's life. Somebody go ahead and call in. The number is flashing across the line at the bottom there, 234-200-6720. And I'm going to put the link right now into the chat. And you can go ahead and be the first. Ask a question. Might be for a family member. It might be for a friend. It might be for a coworker. It's it's always good to get a second hand opinion. It's good to, hear what else somebody else thinks, especially if they are pretty balanced and sound mind. I say that it behooves you just to get another opinion on a situation. So I put the link in the chat. Go ahead, you can click in. You can keep yourself anonymous if you will. I'm not going to, put that upon you. This is the early stages of this channel here. And so, we're looking at trying to help people in their hard, tough lives that they're having in their situations that I can go ahead and add to. Let me tell you a little bit about myself, just in case you didn't watch the video yesterday. I'm a man I'll be 60 years old this year. And I started off as a young man, like the rest of us, had childhood traumas. I was abused as a young boy. I was victimized and violated by a babysitter, and that traumatized me, even with, looking at the young girls in a way that kind of tripped me up, because the one who violated me was a teenage girl, and that many men would sit there and say, man, what are you talking about? I would enjoy that. Well, nah, yeah, you say, but at a very young age, it could be traumatic, something I had to deal with, but I went on and, you know, grew into becoming a young adult and had to find my own way. My family, was definitely upside down. Mom and dad divorced, dad left to decide to go off with another woman, left 4 kids with mom. And it was tough. It was a tough time in a situation. But we overcame, had to face homelessness. I went in the military at the age of 17 just to escape, and wound up tried to help my brother and sister them out. But of course the military wouldn't let me get them as dependents. But um I was trying to survive myself, and got out there in this world and experienced things, got finally attached to the young ladies, and became addicted to that, running the streets and being that playboy, if you would call it there, but had situations that have definitely caused me pain, having a child out of wedlock, you dealing with dating with different women, and you get across, you come across some that you just don't like or whatever, and you're just trying to figure life out. Young man, 20 years old at the time, and here you're embarking on becoming a father. It was a very challenging time in my life, but then doing all that, going through that, and still young and dumb, experimenting with alcohol became my addiction. Find myself arrested, wound up in jail, DUIs, turn around, as troubled as I was, got married at the age of 28 years old. Um, at that time, bro, right before that time, I was about to end my life, about to commit suicide at the age of 28. My walls were closing in on me, and I had nowhere to turn. But I did decided to call out to one that people call God today, but uh, I was rescued at that moment in time, and I flipped the script. I changed my life. I decided to go in a different direction than where I was living. And so, hey, like everybody else, everybody has issues and problems and trials and tribulations, and went through that. Went through a divorce, had two children out of that. Walked 5 years singlehood at the age of 45 when I got divorced. I did 5 years, and then wound up finding my wife today. We're going on our 10th year anniversary. It's the greatest decision that I made, to give marriage a second chance, to love again, you all. You know what I'm saying? As a man, because I'm a man about being in a relationship, being out there, running the streets and dating and all that right there. It was very challenging. But I was fortunate. Very few people are fortunate to have a good second turnaround. Matter of fact, statistically, um, second marriages end in divorce 62%. So it's 62% more beyond than with a 49% divorces for the first marriage. So it's even tougher when you're trying to get remarried and then, try the second time. But in saying that, hey, we got somebody who is calling in, and hopefully we have a question rather, for some answers. And let's bring in our first guest. Hello, Chase.
Hello, hello, sir.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you today?
I am doing very well. How can I help you
Yes.
today? What you got for me?
Whew. Uh, just to say something, I've been watching you for a long time.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, on the other channel there. I'm
Hmm.
actually originally from Botswana.
Botswana, I've been there.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, and I live in Canada now. So,
Wow.
um,
Ooh. Okay. I've been there
yeah,
too.
yeah, it's very cold right now, but
Freezing. Yes.
yeah, yeah.
What
Um,
question you got for me, my man?
yeah, I was listening to you the other day. Talking to the other people, and you mentioned something about you proposed to your wife in like 4 months or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I just wanted to ask you a question because I'm not married. I've never been married. I'm in 41 years old.
Okay.
How do you know as a man that you are ready for marriage?
That's a good question, man. That's a great question. Man, when I came out of my marriage and I got divorced, man, and I started dating a couple of women, and then I left that alone and I just went on a search seriously, man, to find that woman. And man, I had an awesome time meeting a lot of women. And it was through, really, man, the dating sites, and it gave me opportunity, man, to call the women, and we talked, we had conversations, and it made me realize, man, everybody's got some damages, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But and in that, in the conversations, you're learning about people, man, their backgrounds, man. You're hearing people's stories and stuff like that, and not very few women I connected with, man. Very few women, and I think, man, that it came down to my wife, man, just was peaceful, just peaceful.
yeah,
And when it, she wasn't combative, but she's a very good listener. And I'm a talkative type of dude. So it's like, she'll listen, she'll ask some questions, and but it was a peace, man. And I knew in me I wanted peace. I said this, I think, to the young lady yesterday. When men get in their 40s, man, especially if they've been married before, and some come out of divorces that was pretty rough and all that right there. All they want is peace. That's it.
yes,
And you being in your 40s, 41, Um, how will you know, man? I'm telling you, man, I think that the heart of hearts is that that woman, man, is going to bring peace to you.
Yes.
She's going to bring peace to you. And you and that right there to me is the tall tale sign, because when there's friction, you know, man, hey, that's not for me, you know. Some people today, you know, they use words like toxic and trauma, traumatized. A lot of people use that today, but very few people know what peace is.
That's true.
If you know what peace is, and this is the only reason why I knew peace. Because remember when you heard me say about I was going to commit suicide at the age of
Yes.
28, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
when I cried out and I said, if there is a God, help me. And I've tried to describe that feeling of when in that room, in my living room, on the floor, snotting and crying, it was a presence that came in that room and hit me, man. And it was a feeling of peace. It put me at rest. It made me feel like I was in a good whole hug, man. It's like I was just the thousands of pounds lifted off of me. And that's how it was with my wife, man. Was like I was eager every after we hung out every night, you know, hung up from the phone every night. I was anxious, man, just to talk to her the next day because it was like, man, she's so peaceful. That's how I knew, man. That's
Oh
how I knew.
man.
So now, how did you make it to 41 years old? Because you know you're from Botswana. You've moved over. How long you been in Canada?
I've been in Canada for 20 years now.
20 years. And
Yeah.
so you are experiencing being really the foreigner, being the minority
Yes, that's
in in,
true.
in a prevalent Caucasian society, right?
Yes.
And so now that even does it make it pretty tough for you? I mean, unless
Oh
are you
yeah.
trying to stay
Def, def,
culturally? Are you trying to stay within your own culture or your own race, or you don't? It
yeah,
doesn't
pretty
matter to you.
much. Yeah, pretty much. I was in a relationship with a young woman, but it ended when I 5 years ago or so.
Okay.
And then I took some time off, to myself. And then about a year and a half, I met someone else, and
Okay.
she's been great so far. She's Kenyan.
Okay.
Uh,
Kenyan. All right.
yeah, and it's a long distance. She lives in Kenya. I live here. I've been to Kenya like 4 times already.
Yeah.
And she's very, like I say, she's very great, good woman. But we have talked about marriage a little bit. That's the
Mhm.
reason why I'm asking this question, because I want to know, like, I'm not sure, like, how do I know that I'm ready and all that to move forward to the next step, which is marriage. So,
Well, hey, you know, what let me ask you this right here. What type of man do you think you are? And do you think you could be that does she appreciate that type of man that you are? And what I mean by that is, you know, um, they throw words around today like alpha male, beta male, are you a simp or are you know, but in actuality, really, to keep it fair, you got to know who you are and does she respect it? You know what I mean?
yeah, that's true. I think the type of man I am, oh, yeah, that's a loaded question.
Well, and
uh,
and it really, I mean, you don't have to explain to me who you think you are. The question is, do you know who you are? Because if you
I,
know who you are, right, as a man, does she oppose that? Does she either connect with who you are or not? Because my next question to you is why are you hesitant in marriage, especially being 41? Why are you what you hesitant for?
yeah, that's Mr. Papu Ru. That's exactly what I'm trying to figure out. Like, what is it within me that makes me hesitate? Because, like I explained, she's a great woman, and I can see that. You
Okay.
know, very traditional. She has a good education. She has like a master's in finance. She has a good
Mhm.
job in Kenya.
Mhm.
Um, everything else about her is good. It's just on my side,
Mm-hmm.
I have a little bit of uncertainties within me,
You have a little what?
a little bit of like fear, let's say, small fear
Fear.
of,
Okay, and what's okay?
yeah,
Okay.
trying to
So
move to the next step
let me
because
ask
of,
you. Let
like
me,
not knowing what comes after.
okay, let me ask you a question. Who what, was you raised with your mom and dad?
Yes, yes.
Both of them, are they still married?
Yeah, they're still married, but our father unfortunately passed away.
Okay, sorry to
Uh,
hear that. So
yeah.
so so how was their marriage?
Their marriage was good. I would say very, African marriage, very traditional.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Both of my parents were available throughout my life,
Yeah.
and they both worked. My dad worked in a mine. My mom worked in the hospital. They raised us well, me and my
Okay.
siblings. Yeah.
Okay. So then this fear you have, because you know, you being a man, 41, you know what your fear is. What is it? What's your fear?
I think the fear for me is like I was saying, it's like the next step. Like if I make that step, is it the
Yeah.
right step?
Is it the right step?
Yeah. I don't know how to explain it. Like it's like that fear of the unknown, right? Like,
But that's our entire lives, though. I mean, when you had to
yeah.
go and move to Canada for the first time, when you went to off to probably school or college to get it, you don't know what the end result's going to be, or applying for a job. You don't know whether or not you don't know.
Yeah,
You
that's true.
you don't know. I mean, and so approaching something of not knowing what the next step is, you know, I don't think about stuff like that, man.
Okay.
You know, my thing when I say I don't think about stuff like that, I don't think about what ifs. What I do before I make a decision, though, is I'm going to make sure I'm not moving in my emotions. Sometimes, you might like, oh, she's beautiful and she's this and that and that and that. Boom, I'm gonna, and instead of just I'm gonna do my homework, I'm gonna ask a lot of questions when we're out and when we're together and over the phone, and I'm gonna see, is this aligns up with what I am preparing? Because it's when you say you have fear, to me, what I'm hearing is that you are unsure of how she is. Because you already know how you are. You've been singling it out for 41 years. So what is it that you're fearing about her?
Man, is it her though? That's the thing. Like I'm trying to figure out. Like, is my fear because of her? Like, and I look at her, like I said, and I don't see anything
You
wrong.
don't.
You know.
Well, let me ask you this right here. Is she good enough to lose?
Is she good enough to lose? No.
Because I mean, you know, unless you oppose marriage and you just don't want to be married.
I don't. Yeah, no, I don't oppose marriage.
Okay, man, because I mean, you're 41 years old. I mean, and I mean, it ain't like we're on a clock like women are on a clock, but I'm just saying is that, you have a woman, you say that everything is cool, y'all been dating for how long?
About a year and a half.
About a year and a half. You know everything about her, just about, well, it's a long distance relationship, and I don't really consider that really true relationship until you with somebody every day. And that might
Yeah.
be an issue too. But let me ask you this right here, because sometimes people don't think about this, and this is where fear can come into. Let's just say, hypothetically, y'all get married. Or let's just say, are y'all engaged? You're not even engaged, right?
No, not engaged. No.
Okay, so you haven't even gotten that far to even ask the woman to engage. Why not? Well, a year and a half. Why not?
Well, let's just. I'll rewind a little bit. of why I asked the question is because recently I've been looking at, like engagement rings and things like that.
Yeah.
But I find every time, I look at it for like an hour, online, and then all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, am I really ready to move to that step? Ask her to be my wife. So, oh,
Have you been this? Have you when's the last relationship you've been in?
the last one.
Yeah, before
Yeah, the
this.
last one was 2021.
How long was that one for?
That one was long, about 6 years.
Y'all was for 6 years. You dated this woman.
Yes,
Why didn't you marry her? Fear
that's the thing. I don't know because she left because of that.
and because of fear.
Yeah, because I was unsure because we talked about it and everything, and then she figured, after 6 years, she deserves more than just.
And she's right. I'm surprised she sat around that long. I mean, typically men know when they're ready to pull the trigger when it comes to marriage. You're sounding like on the side of some women where they are afraid, like, okay, is this guy really up? But I mean, you're saying the fear thing, and to me, it's like there is something that's keeping you, and I think you know what it is. I mean, because you said you was raised by mom and dad, you had a great raising up. They had stayed married for years. That would be a great example and a confident having confidence in marriage that you would want to go ahead and say, I'm going to get married.
Okay, let me just say this. Maybe some of my fear is this. Um, do you still maintain your individuality in a marriage?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes when I think about marriage, I'm like, is it gonna like um, take away some of the stuff that I do? I like to
I see
enjoy.
what your problem is. I see already the problem. Look, I hope y'all listening. Here it goes. And some people ain't gonna
Okay,
like it.
okay,
Here's your problem. In a First and foremost, you are a man, right?
yeah, yeah,
A man asks a woman into his life. Am I right?
yes,
You are the one who has the goals. You're the one who has planned out your life. It's you who decided how many children that you want, especially if you're going to be working and provider for the family. You're the
yes,
one, she is the one who's going to accept coming in and being your wife as well as your helper to achieve those things. If you ain't got your life planned out and you haven't explained that to that woman, I would be fearful too, wondering what is it that I am going to lose or give up if I have not established a foundation of how I want my household, how I want, well, it'll be y'all's household, but how you want to lay everything out. Because now we live in a total different generation today. And, you know, some women would object to that. Now, my wife, I had to speak on, she's probably one of the few, probably a rarity out here, but I laid it out. I'm a man and I'm going to
yeah,
be the head and you're going to be my helper. And you're going to be included in the things that I see and how I see the direction of how our family should go. I
yeah,
asked my wife this question right here. I said, if the Most High told me to go right, will you go? That's before I said, before I even go further, I need to know that. No ands, ifs, or buts about it.
yeah,
That means even if you quit your job, if I didn't want you working for because I had plans for some other things or whatever it is, will you go right? And she said,
yeah,
I will. I'm willing to go right and give it up if it came to that. So she knew how I wanted our household to be. She knew how I was as a man. Not to Don't get it wrong now. It took some time for her to get and understand that I'm made as a leader. And her being divorced for 10 years, little dating experience that she had, raising the kids that she had, she was always in the authoritative position, the
Yeah,
leadership position. Getting married, she had to realize that, you know, he's got the plan.
yeah,
And now to address your issue about freedom, you know, and that was one of our conversations. I need my getaway. I need
yes,
I need
yes,
my sabbatical. I need my retreat by
yes.
myself. When I need to go and I go away, I'll go away. I did it in my first marriage, you know,
Okay,
and so it's like because you know and you're 41 and it's not like you googly eyed little 18-year-olds thinking you're puppy love. Like we don't need to be under each other all day long every
that
day.
is true. That is
You know what
true.
I'm saying? And so then that when you lay this out to her, and if she's willing to accept that and say, okay, all right, yes, we do need our time alone, whatever it may be, then then you can go ahead and feel comfortable in knowing, yes, I can. Because the lie is told, many people always say, marriage is like, having shackles on your feet. Marriage is like, white people say this right here, not just in totality. They like to say, if mama's not happy, nobody's happy. You know, I don't that right there, man, is terrible to even just put on for a man to even say, or they like to say, um, the other saying they say is, um, a happy life is a happy wife,
Yeah,
or a happy wife is a happy life.
yeah,
You
something
know,
like that. Yeah,
that is probably the most skewed way of looking at marriage, to say that your life is going to be controlled and controlled by a woman's emotions and her feelings, and if she's not happy, nobody's going to be happy. The house is going to be in the blues if she's not. No, that's for those who wants to have their household. But you are the man. You are asking the woman into your life. You have to lay out how you perceive and see your marriage to be. You hear how did she, is what, how does she receive that? Because one of the biggest conflicts, man's, is that, because you already said she's got a master's degree, she works, she's this, she's that. Well, if you asked her to come to Canada, would she leave all that?
we already talked about that. She said no.
See? Or so what are you going to do? You're going to follow her to Kenya?
That so far is my plan. Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, so you might be, a beta male. And a beta male is, and there's nothing negative about that. You might be which is why you're probably standing in fear, because that masculine man in you, if I surrender going to her, I might have to surrender my freedom.
Yeah,
Because
that.
what kind of woman is she? Her character. I mean, does she like to take the lead? Is she like to have the control? Does she
No,
do
you know what? She's more like a follower. Like she always follows my lead. Like I said, I've been there 4 times. We
No, she
when
don't.
I'm
No, she
there,
doesn't.
we.
She doesn't always follow your lead. You just
Oh,
said
not
she wouldn't.
always. Okay, let's
She
not
wouldn't come to.
always.
You,
But she has
she,
said that she likes how I always take lead on certain things that are, like planning things like that. So
but she's not willing to follow your lead to Canada.
no, okay. Honestly, I've never asked her to like move here.
But you said she said no.
No, I just mentioned it like as a conversation. Hey, if I ever like ask you to move to Canada, would you something that you consider? And she just said no because she thinks because she has a good life in Kenya. Why would she give up all that to move to Canada? That's what she said. But it was not like a straight. Oh, sorry, just give me 1 second. I'm at work actually.
Okay. Well, family. I mean, listening to this right here, this. this is a big problem. And sometimes, but if this is something that he's willing to accept to follow her, then that right there is sending messages that if he's not chase. Are you back?
Yeah, I'm back, sir. Yes,
I
I'm
mean,
on night shift. Sorry.
look, if you was the man and the man that was of her dreams, she would pack up them bags and follow you. If you
Yeah,
was gonna put the
yeah,
marriage, if you was marrying her, that because it's really about the marriage. Because I wouldn't recommend anybody follow anybody unless there was some marriage involved. You know,
yeah,
because I mean, it's like why should one uproot follow somebody when when they don't have the gumption to go ahead and ask you for being their wife? That right there to me is like, you know, that's called a man move. If she's that
yeah.
woman that you believe that she's the one, some people will argue and say, man, go follow her. But this is why you have the fear, because I believe that deep down inside, she's probably the leader in the relationship.
No, I don't think so, Papu Ru. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, no. I think
Okay.
I think I'm the leader.
Okay.
It,
So let me ask you a couple questions then.
yeah,
Okay. So you think you're the leader in the relationship?
I think so.
Uh,
Yes.
okay. How many times she been to Canada to visit you?
Zero.
Why?
I just hasn't. We just hasn't planned it yet.
You mean you haven't asked her to come up to the Canada to check out the area?
Not yet. No.
Okay, but y'all been dating a year and a half.
Yeah, a year and a half, and I've been there to Kenya 4 times.
So you only been together with her 4 times in a year and a half.
Yes.
This is why I say long distance relationships really aren't relationships. And this is why you're afraid, because you okay. How long at each visit do you stay in Kenya?
uh the minimum 2 weeks, the longest a month.
That's not a relationship, brother. I'm here. I hate
Ah,
to tell you,
come
man.
on, Papu Ru.
Okay, well, let's do it then. So you're talking about in a year and a half, right? So you're talking about 18 months. 18 months knowing this woman, and you mean to tell me that you've been there 4 times to visit her, 2 weeks at a time. That's 8 weeks out of 18 months. So
Yeah,
you're talking about 2 months out of 18 months you have been there to be with her. The rest of the time you haven't been on a consistent basis for a long period of time. Anybody can fake it to make it when they're around in a presence for 2 weeks, you know. But try to be
yeah,
around somebody, because I tell people time tells on everyone if you give time, if you allow time to happen. Meaning the fact that in 120 days you should have been able to see when they're upset, when they at their highest moment, their lowest moment, when they're frustrated, whenever, because it's going to happen within 4 months. You're going to have those situations that happen, and yet you haven't had been with her for on a consistent basis.
yes, that's true.
And so
Um,
how would you call that a relationship? Because I mean, you've only spent 2 months with her in 18 months,
that is true. Yes, physically, yeah.
which makes all the sense in the world. Why are you afraid?
Okay, yeah, no, I agree with you. Like 100%, I agree with you. I think we've gotten to the bottom of this. And you mentioned something earlier about freedom. And I know deep down, some of it is the freedom. Because right now, let me just say, before I met her and right now, I have this freedom. I like to travel. So I've been like to the Caribbean. I've been to, some African countries.
Yeah.
Yeah. And every time I think about marriage, I feel like I might lose some of that.
No, brother, you the man, boy. Look, you're the one who established, man, the makeup man of the marriage. You're the
Yeah.
man. You're
Yeah.
the one who will share that with that woman when you meet her and say, "Hey, this is how I have laid out how I intend on our marriage to be."
Yeah.
She's either
Yeah.
gonna say yes or no. She's
Okay.
either
I
going
guess.
she's either going to say yes or no. I mean, it's because if you don't establish the things that you are wanting in the marriage, yeah, you better look out because then,
Yeah,
you, you saying I do to something that, she might say I don't, and
yeah,
it's going to be problems.
yeah, that is true. But like I was saying, I've been watching you for a while though. Like you live away from your wife sometimes, right?
I'm traveling all the time, man, by myself.
Yeah,
A lot of
by
times by
yourself.
myself. And then me and her, we travel together around the world and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, but I have my me time, she has her me time, and when we get back together, and it's typically 3 months, 3 months at a time,
Okay, so you guys are together for a long time.
about 3 months at a time, but this only started here in the last uh 2, 3 years, I guess, 3 years. Because like you said, you saw my other channel. So, I traveled the world. And so when she's doing her job, I'm out traveling. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah.
And then when she takes her break, then we go travel together, you know. But even then, before I did all the traveling, I laid the groundwork out, and I let her know point blank was that, I got to have my me time, you know.
Okay.
I gotta have my me time. I gotta have my getaway time because that's something that's very important to me, you know.
Yeah. No,
And
that's
you,
good. That's good.
yeah, I mean, and man, I mean, you gotta lay the law down, man, because I mean, you're asking the woman into your life, man, and
Yeah.
so she's got to either say yay or nay.
Yes,
That
that's true.
That's the beautiful thing, man, about hunting for a wife, man. Hunting for a wife, man, it may be painful because you're gonna meet a whole lot of women that just ain't just up to par maybe with you. But when you do find those that are like, yeah, I understand you having your time, and I understand about you got a leadership type, and this is how you are, and I appreciate that, whatever. And then as time goes on, they begin to watch you. You watching her, you're talking, you're listening, you're observing all these things, man. And then before you know it, you might be like, hey, what? You know what? I'm going to do this.
Yes. Well, yeah, I guess I do have some things to think about and talk about with her. Uh
Hey, man, yeah, and
and
tighten
I
up your
appreciate
belt. Tighten
yeah,
up your
tighten
belt,
up the
man.
belt for sure.
Yeah, tighten your belt up, man. Because I mean, man, look, hey, you up here walking in fear, man. It ain't no time for no fear. Hey, you either gonna be with a woman, man, and you're gonna have intentions of dating for marriage. And because there was a lot of women used to tell me back then, man, they like, man, I feel like I'm on an interview when I'm with you. You ask a lot of questions. It's not, yeah, I'm trying to get to know you. I want to know
Yeah.
who you are. I want to know who I'm dealing with, you know? And
Yes,
then as
yes.
time goes on, once you find that match, man, and she's like, she's down for how you got laid out, man, far as the family and your visions and your goals and stuff. And and she has to be able to match to that. A lot of
Yes.
women ain't gonna like to hear that. It's because the man is the one who's asking her into his life. So it's about, how are we going to go ahead and make this happen? And this is how I have laid out. Some women coming already with their plans, talking about how they want their marriage to be. And it's like, you forgot the man. He's the one right there. If he's going to be the provider, the protector, and he's the one that's going to be the overseer, the watcher, and all this other stuff that you're talking about, because most women say they want a leader man. He want a man to take leadership roles, but they don't realize what comes with that.
Yes.
Being a leader, man, I'm gonna tell you what, man. It's a lot of responsibilities. It's a lot of responsibilities, and my wife, she never understood it until we were married for some years, and
Okay.
then now she gets it. Because I mean, I got to be watchful for everything. Why?
Yes.
Because it's the castle we live in. It's the kingdom, you know, and everything's got to be up to par. Because why? We have things set in place, right? To where it's like, we're building, we're getting older for retirement, and there are things laid out for that. This is what I laid out to her, point blank, and and for those guys out there who'll listen to this right here, and women too. My wife makes 4 times as much as I make.
Mm.
She sets up because my wife is a doctor. She sets all that aside. She hands that to me, and I
Yeah.
manage and handle that. Now, of course, she's in the conversation when it comes to my plan of what I do with and how we build this together and how we go for that. But my wife, man, she's a woman. She's a lady. She
Yeah.
she she was raised, man, with a mom and dad who was married for 54 years, and her mother, man, was a great example of how a lady is. And and
Yes.
and and, and have accepted the fact that the man she married is a leader. And all you got to do is move out the way for leaders because they're gonna handle it, you know.
Yes. Yes.
So that's what you, brother, that's what you got to look at and ask yourself, if getting yourself involved with a woman, you got to let her know how you are.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with you there. Like I said, yeah, this conversation just opened up a
Yeah.
lot of stuff that I need to
Good.
think about, and then
That's my purpose, man, is just to
yeah,
open you up and just lay one option out there for you with your rest of your options, and you can kind of tailor it and make it however which way you want. As I
yeah.
say, the gold nugget I'm giving you, you can pick it up or you can just
Or
kick it
you can
aside.
kick
It's
it
your choice,
aside.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
you know. Well, hey, anything else you got for me, man? Any other questions?
No, right now I'm actually at work, like I mentioned, so I'll
Hey,
just let you go. I appreciate the time to come in and uh,
hey, man.
have a conversation with you. Like I said, I've been watching you for a very long time, so it's finally a
Okay,
pleasure to talk to you.
welcome to the new channel, brother, and please pass the word on to those out there that you know Dear Papa Ru's channel is out. So, hey, I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Have a good
All
night.
right. All
All
right.
right,
You
bye.
too. Yeah, family, hey, good question. I mean, I know it's tough for many people today to really, when you talk about marriage and, you just know, you just have that fear that if this don't work, or is she the right one? Is he the right one? You know, when you know who you are and you've poured you into that other person, they become an investment. They become an investment in knowing you, not kind of know something about you, but knowing you. And like him, I don't call those relationships long distance of relationships. You could say that they're not relationships. Not until you have a face to face on a consistent basis, day in, day out. If you can't be around each other for 4 months consistently, you are going to miss some important life situations with that individual as things rise up for you to see how they respond, how they act, how they conduct themselves, and you're going to miss out on those things, which is why he has the fear. Because if you know somebody and you like, I know this woman, hey, and I know this is a good woman, I ain't gonna let her go. Boom, I'm jumping on it. And so that's what a man do. You know what I'm saying? So hey, y'all can call in. The link is in the chat. Please go ahead and click on the link. If you got a problem, an issue, if you looking for an answer, it might even be for a family member, friend. Go ahead and call in Dear Papa Ru, and we can go ahead and drop some nuggets, have some good conversations. I know it's here at Eastern time right now. It is 11:49 p.m., about to turn midnight. But wherever you are, hey, it's never too late to go ahead and pick my brain, because this 60-year-old man, I know a little something. And I'll say this right here too, for those who find me to be strange, find me to be maybe an alien to you, that we don't know everybody's story. We don't know who people's backgrounds are and stuff. This YouTube, social media is filled with a lot of garbage. And when you find that a lot of people are making up their fictitious lives, they acting as though that they're professionals. They put titles on their names. They act as though that they have they're proficient in many subject matters, what have you. And many people jump on board and try to pattern or follow a blueprint that might be a dead end road. And all I've been through in my life, I can tell you, hey, some do's and don'ts, most definitely, to add to your repertoire of options that you got, to where you can at least have an outside opinion from a balanced guy like myself, who have no ill wills or ill intentions of trying to just give you garbage, but have a heart to want to see you succeed. And so to the decision making, how do you make the right decisions? And this is what I was talking about when Chase called in. He had fear. And you never want to make a decision if you have fear. If you're doubtful, don't make the decision. You have to ask yourself, why am I fearful? Why am I fearful? Why do I have doubts? Because deep down inside, I'm gonna say this right here. We got to stop being fake people. I used to tell my children, I used to tell them, the greatest opportunity, the best time in life to know who you are is when you wake up in the morning and stand and look in the mirror. When you're brushing your teeth and playing with your pimples and all that stuff there, look yourself dead in the eyes and ask yourself, are you a bullshitter? Are you faking? Are you being true and real with yourself? Are you trying to be something that you're not? Yeah, these are hard questions that people don't even want to fathom. People rather just go ahead and inundate themselves with substances and stuff and stay in the blue cloud somewhere and then wonder why the result that they keep getting is failing. But Papa Ru here is going to keep it real with you. I'm going to keep it real with you. Because like I said, I don't tiptoe around trees and beat around the bush or sugarcoat anything. We just going to call it like it is. Shake them up, lay them, put them on the table, and let's call it for what it is. That's life. And if you can't be straight up with that, you're going to fail. Call on in if you want to make a phone call, 234-200-6720. Hit the link in the chat. I'm gonna put the link again. Mr. Freddie, hey, peace and blessings to you. Good to see that you are here. Thanks for your response. Maybe you want to go ahead and call in, ask a question. But I'm here for that, you all. I'm here for that. I am fortunate that I've had one call tonight, was able to help and assist one brother from Botswana. As you see behind me, I have many things back here that are representations of Africa. And for those who may not know, that my channel that I have is Go Black to Africa. Many people have known me there. A very good channel that I have shown my travels, not just Africa and some other countries too, that I have been to on a journey. But I would say this is that it has built me and I have gained even more understanding of people, places, cultures, things like that. A beautiful opportunity to be able to travel the continent of Africa. I got 20 more countries left over there. And so I am very thrilled that I'm going to be starting that back up here pretty soon. So what you got? I got 8 people in the chat. I hope I got some likes out there. But please, I know somebody is just laying in their bed like, should I call? Should I be able to should I say something to him? Should I just make a call? Because, it ain't by chance, coincidence, or accident that the good most high at this moment in time set you on my channel. There's nothing that happens by accident. There is nothing that happens by coincidence or by chance. It has been already planned, laid out. This moment in time that you just stopped here on this channel at this moment in time was for you. Exactly, for you. And if you have a question, you have something bothering you or a problem, and all you want to do is just let it out, or just throw it off on somebody else's chest, see what they got to say. That's what Papu Ru is here for, giving just the man's opinion and his perception, or as I like to call it, the gold nugget, so that you're able to decide whether or not, hey, you can utilize it or not. It's your choice. But back to the decision makings, because I mean, I have found that when I was a younger man, that a lot of decisions was made off of emotions, out of fear, out of doubt. But when I became of a man, I began to look at things differently, especially when I started to believe that there has got to be something greater out here with all this universe and the planets and all that right there. I began to subscribe in that mindset, which then took away a lot of fear because I knew then that if that source created me, it wouldn't leave me hanging. Though life trials, tribulations, even situations that happen by other people who bring garbage in your life, and all these issues that we know from history that's happened by other nations of people or countries and other uh, different places have caused devastations on this earth. Many people say, I don't believe there is one, but I'll share with you that, everybody has their right to believe what they want to believe in, but I can say only for myself. When I changed from the darkness into the light and I subscribed that there's got to be something greater, I realized that that greatness was in me. And that's when the fear left. Many of my family, I've had businesses in 3 different states. I've had many of explorations, and I've been through many of I've been involved in a lot of things. And my family would say, "Man, how do you go in a state, man, and just start up a business? You don't even know anything about it." Well, I do my homework, but I don't have fear. You never fear. People's asked me that. You don't fear. Well, I got fear. Fear does rise up. Yes, but when when fear rises up, you have to know how to deal with it. Because it does happen to me. That fear wants to rise up, but you speak to it. It's like, get the heck out of here. You know what? It ain't nothing but nothing to fear but fear itself. I know that which is in me is greater than the fear. So then what do I have to lose? I have nothing to lose, but all to gain. And that is how I look at life. And that's what my approach is to my businesses and my marriage now and my travels and all that I do. I'm putting a 100% in it because I know that which is in me is 100%. And that's real. That's real, real. So, so yeah, we're gonna do final call here before we go ahead and close out for the evening. Anybody wants to go ahead and call in? We got 3 more minutes. Um, ask that question. Ask that question. Or if you disagree with something I said, call in and tell me what you disagree with. You can disagree with whatever, and I'll explain to you why it is what I said and why I stand on what I say based upon my experience and what have I have found to be tried and true to be effective. Let me say this right here in closing. Everybody out here has a word to say. Everybody out here has their opinions and their views. Many people out here are giving advice. And I hate to say it, that be careful on which or who you take advice from, because not everybody has a like story. Not everybody has the same beginning. Not everybody has the same understanding. Not everybody has the same perceptions, views, or opinions. And many people are flawed when it comes to trying to give advice. They set themselves as being something great, but yet may not be that person that they really are. And then when we try to go ahead and take from what the people giving advice or sending you on a business journey or venture or getting you to invest in whatever, and these people out here who it's nothing but trickery wind up causing you to lose, which causes you now to sit in sorrow and then hurt and pain. But good old Papu Ru here, I got something for you. I got something, a gold nugget for you. And so with that, Being that we don't have any other calls, I want to wish each and every one of you well. When you're making a decision, check your emotions. Make sure that you do a self check, that you're not making decisions on ego, because many of us do that, off of your emotions of fear, off of you of it might be for lack, that you might feel like you're going to lose something, so you don't take the chance in it. You don't take the chance in because you feel as though that if it don't work out, you might be in a worse situation. All these different things you should never ever make a decision for. So, family, with that, until tomorrow evening, we'll be back here opening up the doors, and I'll have a subject matter to chew on so we can talk about, and we'll go from there. Good night.